Welcome back, people. Today we will look at challenge 4. Difficulty is easy and language used is Python. We have two tasks. The first one is to print the average of the mark array for the student name provided, showing two places after the decimal. Example, you will be given a name, let's say A and B, and an array of marks, let's say 20, 30, 40, and 30, 50, 70. This array list belongs to A and this list belongs to B. There will be another input, let's say B. The output should be B's average score, that is 30 plus 50 plus 70 divided by 3, which is 50. And it should show two places after the decimal. So the input format is the first line contains the integer n, the number of students records. The next n line contains the name mark obtained by a student, each value separated by a space. The final line contains query name, the name of a student to query. Output format is print one line, the average of the marks obtained by the particular student correct to two decimal places. We have also a sample input. First, n value of n is 3. Then we have three lines containing three names, and finally we have a query name. The output is the average of the query name. So let's look at the solution now. So first we get a integer and store it as n. So if we compare it with the sample input, 3 will be stored in n. Then we create a dictionary called marks and then create a loop for I in range of n. That is, if the n value is 3, then the loop will run for 3 times. So what we will do is create two variables, one called name and another one called line. The line is a variable that can accept any number of values. So what we will do here is get an input from the user and split it. So the first one goes to name and the following inputs goes and stored in line as a list. So here Krishna goes to name and 67, 68 and 69 gets into line and stored as a list. After which we get every element from line, convert it into a float and put it into the list called score. After that we will store score as the value for the key name. Now that we have three inputs, now we have to get the query name. So we created a variable called query and get the input from the user. After this, we will print the average mark. So let's run the program. We are going to give the same input here. I mean, what we have in the sample input. We have the same output as 56.00. I hope you would have understood the solution. Now it's time we go to the next problem. So before going to task 2, I would like to tell about something called the lambda function. Let's consider that we have a list of tuples. In each tuple, you have a brand, model, and weight of the car. And you want to sort this list of tuple by brand, model, or weight. You can do this with lambda. So let's see how to do that. So let's say this is the input. We have a list of cars where this is one set, this is another set, this is one another set, and the whole thing comprises of a list. So what we will print is the sorted list of cars where we have a lambda function where the variable car is sorted with the help of zeroth element in the set cars. Similarly, the second print statement will sort the cars with the first element. The third print statement will sort the cars with the third element. So if you see here, this one starts with B, this one with C, and this one with L, all in ascending order of the first element. So the next print statement prints N, X5, and XS, all in ascending order. The next one prints 1100, 1700, 2000, all in ascending order. So now let's go to the problem. Given the names and grades of each student in a class of n students, store them in a nested list and print the name of any student having the second lowest grade. What you have to remember is if there are multiple students with the second lowest grade, order the name alphabetically and print each name on a new line. So the input format is the first line contains an integer n, the number of students. The 2n subsequent line describe each student over two lines. The first line contains a student's name and the second line contains their grade. The output format is print the name or names of any student or students having the second lowest grade in the list. If there are multiple students, order the name alphabetically and print each one on a new line. So we have a sample input. The first line contains an integer 5. So we are going to get 5 inputs, 5 names and 5 grades. After that, the output will be the second lowest grade. Here we have two second lowest grade, Harry and Berry. So we will print Berry and Harry in alphabetical order. So let's see how to do this problem. So now we have a solution. Let's run this. Let's give the same input. So we have the output as Berry and Harry in ascending order. So the solution is first we create a list of students, which is an empty list. Then we create a for loop which runs for n number of times. And the n here represents the input value 5. So the for loop gets name and score 5 times and store it in a list called list student. After this, we are using the lambda function to the so- sort the list student using the first element and the second element respectively. After this, we are checking if there are more than one second lowest mark. If there is more than one second lowest mark, we are storing it in second lowest. We are using another for loop to get every element in the sorted list and checking if any student has the second lowest mark. If yes, we are printing the name. That's how we arrive at the solution. I hope you would have understood the problem and the solution. Thank you for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to Supporting Tech.